Over the last decade, £50 million has been spent trying to improve the quality of our hospital food.
What is that? You don't know.
So far, though, there's been little sign that change on a national level has been achieved.
That's the reality of the foods that's served in the NHS.
In fact, a recent study revealed that over a third of hospital food is still considered unacceptable by patients.
Just horrible.
It's not appetising.
It was inedible, cold, it was vile.
That's why, for the last 4 years, I've been working with NHS kitchens to prove that serving good food is possible.
30 seconds. Come on, come on, come on. You guys have made it.
Thank you.
Together, we've demonstrated patients can have tasty, nutritious food without it costing any more money.
What motivates me more now is the public's perception of the good that we've done. That means a lot.
But it won't be feasible to bring about real change by tackling just one hospital at a time.
People deserve decent food in the NHS. It's not a big ask.
So now, my aim is to introduce a lasting improvement to hospital food for every patient throughout the UK.
Yummy.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I'm massively passionate about food in hospitals. Change can be achieved.
Since starting my campaign to transform hospital food, I've been shocked at the reality of what some patients have been given every day.
Just look at that. What the hell is that?
The emails and pictures you've sent me have highlighted an extraordinary disparity in standards across the UK's hospitals and given me a real sense of the good, the bad and the unidentifiable.
It inspires you to sort of get in there and to work hard and improve it.
And now, rather than bring about change in just a handful of places, I've come up with a plan to help the entire hospital catering industry, making all my ideas and recipes freely available online.
This website actually seemed like a good idea at the time, and I still think it is, but it's a logistical nightmare.
As well as sorting out all that, I'm continuing to work directly with certain hospitals around the country to implement those ideas to benefit patients right now.
High five.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, see you, Andy.
At the Royal Oldham, I've delivered nutritious versions of the kind of food that kids really want to eat in hospitals.
Best pizza ever.
In Chesterfield, I'm helping to develop a food service for patients after they've been discharged.
We want to provide the patient some kind of grocery pack.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good idea?
I think it's a marvellous idea.
And at the Princess Alexandra in Harlow, where the catering department has a sizable debt, I'm hoping that the ideas I'm working on with the team will be enough to save their jobs.
I don't want to put any more pressure on you, but I want to go down to a 1-week menu cycle. Look on your face.
Today is rollout day at Harlow for the new 1-week menu I've been planning with the team, and the pressure is on to get it right.
Well, today's a massive day. Not only do they have to streamline the menu, doing so, this is the first time that we're going to put a weekly menu on, but also the same dishes that the patients eat are going to be the same dishes that we serve in the restaurant. So hopefully, if we do all that, it's going to cut the cost and streamline everything and make it really nice.
The Princess Alexandra is £15 million in debt, so Chief Exec Melanie Walker is looking closely at the future of the on-site catering operation with a view to reducing costs.
There comes a point where we've got to think very differently about how we run the hospital, and there isn't an easy answer to that.
One solution being considered would be to close the kitchen and switch to a cook-chill system, the most common type of hospital catering in the country. It means the food is made off-site, brought in and reheated.
And it's Princess Alexandra Hospital with the order for tomorrow for you.
If catering manager Andy and the team is to avoid that, they need to turn around their £19,000 deficit and become cost-effective quickly.
Can you drop that in tomorrow for us? Yeah, please, that'd be brilliant.
The change to a 1-week menu cycle will help. By ditching half of the meals they're currently making, it should instantly cut the money the team spends on ingredients.
So 10 of these and 10 like that. Yeah.
Walking into the kitchen today, there's a real feeling of nervous energy in the air. Chefs like Yvonne and Neil are having to adjust to doing things differently.
We'll see on the feedback today, because it's the first time these recipes are actually going on the wards. So we'll find out today, you know, what's what.
I can't see why the patients can't have the same with what the visitors or the nurses or everyone else have it. Continuity, that's what you need. It's much more exciting, yeah. There's been a bit of a buzz about the place.
So far, kitchen boss Andy seems to be keeping calm.
Try that, John. Try a bit. It's lovely. The idea about the 1-week menu cycle, I'm almost sure will bring dividends. I'm hopeful that it will actually reduce our costs and at the same time, hopefully, push up quality a bit as well.
This is a big change. You may not think it going down to a weekly menu, but it's fantastic to see all the guys really embracing that. And I think a lot of that was down to the fact that they now know what pressure Andy has been under, and he continues to be under. They really want to rally around and support him even more. And what I see today is the perfect example of that, really.
And of course, there's another reason for the chefs to want the new menu to be a success. If the department continues to lose money, they could all be out of a job.
There's nothing worse than the morale going down because you don't know whether you've got a job at the end of the month. I retire in a couple of years, but these young lads, it's their livelihood. They've got families with kids. They don't want to be looking out elsewhere. Oh, yeah, awful.
With the clock ticking down to lunchtime, there are just a few frantic minutes remaining for the team to finish off the first meal they will serve as part of the one-week cycle. With everything finally ready, it's time for the kitchen's second-in-command Jonathan and I to head up to the wards to see if the new menu will prove a hit with the patients.
James, well, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Knee, by the looks of things. Is that right?
Yep. This one 18 months ago and this one this week.
Well, what do you think of the food so far? Because this is the boss. You can be honest as you like.
Yeah, the food we've had here has been excellent.
Is there enough for you?
There's enough. They come up reasonable portions. It's not skimpy.
Fantastic. Well, good luck. Look after yourself.
Thank you. Thank you much.
Thank you very much.
Don't come in for another one because you've used it two already.
I've used it up now.
Yeah. Nice to see you. What did you have for lunch?
I had the vegetable pasta bake.
And you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many hospitals have you been in your life then?
About 3.
About 3 different ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how does this compare?
It's good.
There you go.
My head's getting bigger. That's really good. I'm pleased to hear that you've
got a friend anyway.
I've got a friend.
Well, get better soon anyway.
Okay.
How you doing, Robert?
Very good.
You're diving into that?
I am.
Yeah, you like it?
Very nice.
And filling as well, is it?
It is, because I'm just thinking to myself, hope it goes in a minute, I won't be able to get all this in.
And what about, I mean, I've got an idea about putting a little recipe bank together so all the other hospitals can use it.
Yeah.
As you're diving into this, everybody around the UK can also have some.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
Yeah? Out of 10?
Oh, I'll give it a 9.
The meal options from the new menu have been given a thumbs up by the patients, and Jonathan seems pretty pleased with the reaction.
We've got very good feedback from the wards though regarding the food, so I think we've got a good team here. It's just a case of moving forward though. Because sometimes you can get a bit stuck in a rut though, and basically you do the thing every day. It's nice to have a fresh input by someone else giving you ideas and suggestions.
But success with the patients is only half the story today. For my new menu to be as cost-effective as possible, I want it rolled out in the restaurant as well as on the wards. If the hospital staff that eat here are as enthusiastic as the patients, then it should result in major cost savings, as the team can bulk buy the same ingredients to cover both the wards and the restaurant.
It's nice to have something that's warm and filling when you've only got a short snippet of time to eat, and often we don't get regular breaks, so sometimes it's just a quick 5 minutes, and something like a soup and a roll you can have and carry on.
It's nice that it's all home cooked as well. Yeah. It's not being brought in pre-packaged.
When I see a patient eating something at the ward, sometimes I really think, oh yeah, actually I'd quite like that. So it'd be nice to be able to come down here and get that.
It's been an encouraging start for the team.
So have I got anything coming in on the prep side tomorrow at all?
And if they can keep it up, they now have every chance of cancelling out the department's deficit.
Amazing job. Thank you very much, guys. I think great appreciation on the wards as well.
Yeah, that went very well.
Yeah, it went really well, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The first day's gone very well for us, and I'd like to think that through the rest of the week it will carry on being, successful as well. And as you saw in here today, we were all working together for that. We'd like to see an increase in revenue from the restaurant. What we want to make sure we can do is put the ideas that James has actually brought to us with his salad ideas and grab-and-go ideas that he's brought to us, and that's really what it is about.
But this success needs to be sustainable to convince the hospital trust to stick with the traditional kitchen here, rather than cutting jobs with a switch to a different system.
Thank you.
The Princess Alexandra isn't the only hospital I've worked at facing that threat. York Trust, which runs the hospital where all this began, Scarborough General, is also considering the future of its kitchens. It's already announced the closure of its traditional setup in Bridlington. It looks from this that Bridlington is going cook chill. And Scarborough, where catering manager Pat Bell and I first proved that it is possible to give patients better food at no extra cost, could be next.
York Trust is my home county. I'm very proud of that place. I'm very proud of the people that it represents and the people that it serves. And I felt honoured, to be honest. A local boy goes back home and helps out the local hospital. It was really, everything that I ever wished for.
With York Trust offering few assurances over the future of the kitchen at Scarborough, it looks as though this may be a battle that I've lost. But around 60% of UK hospitals now serve cooked chill food or other types of off-site catering. If I really want to make a difference on a national scale, I can't ignore that. Up to now, I've never seen exactly how food made off-site is produced, but finally, that's about to change.
We've talked a lot about cooked chill and the effect that it has on catering units that I've been working with over the last sort of 2 to 3 years. But thankfully, after those years have passed, the NHS have allowed me to come here. This is their own central production unit in Wolverhampton, and they want me to work with them on stuff that they're serving in a hospital right next door. So I'm looking forward to today.
This isn't your typical cooked chill production unit. For starters, it's a little unusual for one to be based so close to a hospital. Plus, it's run by the NHS, rather than a private company, as many of them are. Although the patients are split on what they make of the food.
It's a bit bland. But I'm quite happy.
It's vile.
These meals are prepared in a central facility like this one. Blast chilled in large fridges, then transported to hospitals in the surrounding area. When the food finally reaches the wards, it's reheated using a special serving trolley.
What is that? You don't know.
I've always believed that the majority of off-site hospital catering is of a poorer quality than meals cooked in a traditional kitchen.
Fetching, I know, but there's a lot goes on here.
I'm here at the unit today, though, with an open mind. And catering production manager Gene has pledged that he'll take on board my ideas and suggestions. But first, I need to see exactly how a place like this operates.
What are we looking at in terms of production? What's the average amount that you do a day?
1,000 lunches, 1,000 suppers, so 2,000 meals on a normal production day. We do a double production day on a Tuesday, so that'll be 4,000.
The unit here caters for 3 hospitals in the local area, but producing 4,000 meals on a busy day is pretty staggering. Compare that to the kitchen I've been working in Harlow, which gets through around 900 meals daily, and you begin to get a sense of the scale of this operation. In my book, mass hospital catering doesn't usually result in quality food, but there's no doubt that there are some aspects of the way this unit is run which I wasn't expecting.
This is the decant area.
Yeah.
So you can see all our raw meat has come through.
It's interesting that you're using fresh chicken, because a lot of these, much bigger units than what you've got here might be using, well, it could be frozen boneless chicken, it could be anything really.
We don't use any frozen meat at all. Everything is fresh.
All fresh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's not the only working practice I'm in favour of. There's also close attention paid to the way dishes are produced, sometimes with obvious benefits.
So each one of these trolleys is basically a recipe then?
Yes.
Yeah. So you get basically standardised the recipe, exact?
The recipes have to be standardised because they are all agreed with the dietitians. So it keeps our dietitians happy, which it keeps the finance people happy, so that we know exactly how much we're spending. We have a very strict budget to stick to, and it also cuts down on waste. If we're cooking 385 portions of cottage pie, we order exactly the right amount of ingredients to cook that amount.
Sounds good. Now this is more like it.
So do you
serious frat pans.
You feel a bit more at home in here,
yeah? I've never seen equipment like this. I don't know what these cost, but they are not cheap.
They're not cheap. However, we do make savings. When you're cooking on bulk like this, you need less staff.
Yeah. What are they, 3, 4?
Yeah. I was really surprised. I mean,
Not many, is it?
No. And it works, James.
So I'm intrigued to know what you're cooking today then. So can we go have a look?
With only 4 chefs making up to 4,000 meals a day, it's clear that the unit have bulk production down to a fine art. But how the food actually tastes is what really counts.
Homemade soup.
Homemade vegetable soup.
Homemade soup. If you think it's too salty, you can work on the recipe level.
There's pros and cons with everything, really. I can see really why they do it. The negative side of it is you don't get any variety, really. There's work that we can help them with, absolutely, in terms of, the soups and the taste and everything else. But the basis of everything is there. It's just, there's a little bit more frozen veg than I'd want. Try and get fresh veg on because they've got the fresh meat on. But, most of the time with NHS, you're fighting for equipment. You've got it all, You could have a bath in there, look, albeit a hot one.
I can see it's a very professional setup here, but amongst many of the people I've spoken to in hospitals, not just chefs, but dietitians, nurses and patients too, the quality of cooked chill food has a terrible reputation. Jean believes the blame shouldn't lie with an NHS unit like this one, but with the 35% of hospital catering that's subcontracted out to private firms.
I don't want to be disrespectful to these other big suppliers, but they are profit-driven. They will have to buy the raw ingredients, produce it, store it, transport it, and make a profit. We're an NHS unit. We have a budget to stick to like any other NHS unit, so we spend well over £1 million on raw ingredients, and our recipes have all of that money put into the ingredients.
Yeah, because if a meal costs £4, you'll spend £4 on the quality of the food.
Yes.
Whereas what I find difficult to believe is a company would spend £4 on food. They're not. They're going to spend, I don't know, £1.50.
Yes. We don't have to make a profit. It's all goes back into the patient's experience.
Well, I've got to be honest with you, I didn't really know what to expect when I came in here. I was probably anticipating a lot more of a factory environment. You know, this is NHS owned, so they can control everything in terms of the costs. You know, it's kitted how they want to kit it out as well, whereas you just get the feeling in a cook chill unit that has to make a profit. It doesn't really look as good as this.
Although I'm cautiously optimistic about what I've seen so far, the real test of this food is how it goes down on the wards.
Bed 22, isn't it?
So I've come across the road to the New Cross Hospital to see some of it served to the patients.
So unlike conventional sort of hospital wards where the food is placed in a hot cabinet from the kitchen, wheeled to the wards, and then the button is pressed to be superheated, these have had probably a lot less time in an oven, but at an exact temperature. Army of waitressing team, check.
Watching the food being served, there's one issue with it that's immediately obvious to me.
What about portion size? Is it easy to portion up doing this?
I try my best. There's a portion of 6 in this tray here.
The unit produces trays with either 6 or 3 portions in them. But as numbers haven't worked out perfectly today, there seems to be quite a lot of waste left over in many of the trays, and that's costly for any hospital.
So has everybody eaten?
Yep.
I mean, then what happens to this then? This all gets thrown in the bin.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
When you're cooking in containers for 3 and 6 portions, and not individually, you're going to have huge amounts of waste.
They tell me at the hospital they have 10% waste, but based on what I've seen, I imagine on some days it's probably a lot more.
Can I try a bit then?
Yeah.
Before anybody starts chucking it out.
Yeah, that'd be better.
Chicken pie. What is this one?
Beef hot pot.
Beef hot pot. Chicken pie's better.
Of the food I've tasted, I would say some is good, some just okay. And that's what many of the patients think too.
You've had experience of the food, 6 weeks worth of food.
Yeah.
Everything you wanted, or what?
It could be improved. They offer you like jacket potato and cheese, and I thought, oh yeah, that's nice. And I had it the first time, and it was really nice. And then the next 3 times I've ordered it, like the potatoes not cooked, or that you're like.
Anything that you'd like on the menu that's not on the menu at the moment?
No, because I think to me there's a choice for what I want.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't want it, it's up to me to say no, don't I?
And you're happy?
And I'm quite happy.
When they used to plate them up a million miles away and put them on the things and bring them up in the flight trolleys and whatever, I mean, that was just disgusting. The way it's presented is much better now.
Yeah.
But there are some issues with choice, particularly if you're on a restricted diet.
To improve that choice and raise standards overall, Gene and his team will now start trialling some of the recipes I'll be putting up on my website. If that's a success, they'll start using them for good.
From what I've seen today, it's very different to what I've seen on a bigger commercial scale being served in other hospitals. The actual kitchen was a proper kitchen with proper chefs in there and cooking real food. Having said that, that's the benefit of being owned by the NHS.
Whether a hospital's meals are provided by an NHS unit or by a private catering company, I still believe most patients, given the choice, will jump at the chance of having some fresher food added to their menus.
The dinner hasn't been very nice.
That was certainly the case a year ago, when I sent a couple of my chef mates to work with a large cook-chill hospital in London.
We're at the Royal Free in Hampstead, a whopper of a hospital, very, very big one.
I asked Lawrence Keogh and Paul Merritt to work with the team at the Royal Free to see how we could supplement the hospital's off-site catering with simple, fresh food. And once they read the patient feedback forms, one dish stood out again and again.
Soup. 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 Maybe that's an area we need to look at. At the moment, just explain, the soup is made
60 miles away in the production kitchen.
Okay. Wouldn't it be nice if every day there was a fresh soup?
It wasn't long before the boys and I got busy in the kitchen.
Right, come on, Lawrence. Where are you?
Paul Merritt, can you please come to the diary room?
More soup.
we were making not just fresh soups, but salads too. And when we tested them out on the wards and in the hospital restaurant, the response was overwhelming.
I've had the carrot and coriander soup, and it was beautiful.
How does that compare with what you've had before?
Very tasty, yeah. Very good.
It's the best soup I've had down here, so it's really good.
Sorry, can you just say that again loudly?
Yeah, it's the best soup I've had down here.
Oh, excellent. That's the batch I made.
It was great to see a hospital with this sort of system keen to improve the quality and range of the meals they'd bought in. And doing it actually saved them money. When we left, the soup and the salads have been introduced on 3 wards, but Director of Facilities Jeremy had big plans to roll them out across the whole building.
We've done the whole floor today. We can start planning our menus around delivering this across the whole hospital. It'll be a bit of a challenge, but we'll be able to do it, and it enhances the meal service that we have now.
So 6 months after their last visit, Lawrence and Paul went back to the Royal Free to see how things had been working out, and if we'd managed to make a lasting difference to the food there.
I'm really keen to know how this 6 months has gone.
Yeah.
You know, whether they've managed to really maintain the momentum, because it's easy to turn up and do it over a short period.
Yeah.
But over 6 months.
I know. Have they managed to achieve it daily? I don't know if they've expanded it. Have they disbanded it? I don't know what to expect today.
No,
I really don't know what to expect. I'm a little bit apprehensive.
The lads are meeting up with Jeremy and the hospital's chief exec, David.
For us, it's been fantastic. It's been just a huge change, actually, in the way we operate, the way we eat, the way we do things. Jeremy and his team have been out there.
We have. The soup has gone down a storm. The salads have been absolutely fantastic in terms of patients taking them on board, and they look so much fresher and so much more tempting. It really does.
So the management are happy, and the word back from the staff on the wards is just as encouraging.
Patients have been really warm and receptive to the soups. It's what they want to eat when they're not feeling very well. There's a good variety of soups. They're freshly prepared every day, using really nice ingredients.
Best of all, both patients and restaurant customers are really feeling the benefit of fresh food on their menu.
When you're sick, you need all the energy in the world to help yourself to get well. That's the #1 priority.
We get the soup every day. We come down here every day. And it's just really, really nice. Tasty, healthy.
You get your 5 a day packed in there, so it's quick, it's easy, quite nutritious, and it fills you up.
There's no doubt from the management that the changes we introduced just by adding simple additions to the bought-in meals are here to stay.
The staff eating the same food as the patients makes a huge difference in terms of the messages we're giving to the organisation about what's important. Actually, if it's not good enough for us, it's not good enough for the patients.
Yeah, absolutely. So as yet, you haven't got it right the way through the hospital, but that's going to happen very soon, right?
It is. There's a plan out there now at the moment. All the soups have been rolled out throughout the whole hospital. That's gone really well, and we're now working down from the 11th floor downwards, doing all of our fresh salads as well. So that's really
good
exciting.
work in 6 months, isn't it?
You're ahead of the pack now.
Benchmark.
You're ahead of the pack.
Brilliant. Excellent. That's good to hear.
They have done really well, and they're running it out throughout the whole hospital.
The feedback was good, the vibe was good, and they've maintained that level.
I'll tell you what it proves. I think it proves that the model that we've worked on here could probably be replicated across
But why not?
every
But why
Cookshall
not?
hospital.
What's preventing it? What's stopping it? Why can't it be?
Paul and Lawrence have a point. Simple ideas like the ones we trialled at the Royal Free could work in many hospitals with off-site catering.
We've done something right. We've done something right.
It's initiatives like this I'm hoping more hospitals will adopt once I put them all down on my website. I want all the recipes and ideas that I've proved can work to be available for every hospital to use. It's the key to my goal of affecting change on a national level, so I've enlisted the help of other organisations also pushing for change, such as the Hospital Caterers Association and the British Dietetic Association.
Well, when I thought about the idea of a website, it was really important that we got organisations like the BDA involved in this, because really they are at the forefront of nutrition in the NHS, and what they say is more or less goes, really. So when you're devising a recipe and you're devising menus and stuff like that, without their really seal of approval, it's very difficult to implement this on a larger scale.
To get that seal of approval, all the recipes I plan to share on my website need to be thoroughly checked out. So I've sent the details of nearly 60 of my dishes to top nutritionists at the British Dietetic Association. And now I'm waiting for the call from BDA dietitian Maxine Karts to let me know whether I've got the go-ahead to describe the dishes I'll be making available to all hospitals as nutritionally sound.
On the whole, everything okay?
On the whole, they're great, and they certainly look mouth-watering dishes. They look like they're going to be really well received by patients. So you've got some sticky chocolate pudding, and those soups look really great.
Great. All right, thanks for all your help on it.
Cheers, James, no problem.
Cheers, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
How good was that? It's often really when you try and implement change within the NHS, they've all got their own sets of issues and rules and regulations. And if Maxine says the recipes are great,
That is a massive leap forward. Making available a database of dishes hospitals can be confident are both tasty and nutritious will be a real step forward. Staggering as it sounds, there are no mandatory nutritional standards laid down for all hospitals in the UK. There are for prisons, but hospital food has no such consistency or regulation, or at least not in England. There are nutritional standards set out for Scotland and Wales, though, as I discovered last year when I was asked to help with a new initiative from the Welsh Assembly. Leslie, thanks for meeting us. Welsh Minister Leslie Griffiths set me the task of helping create dishes for a single menu, set to be rolled out across all 115 NHS hospitals in Wales.
From the end of this year and bringing in the All Wales menu, which again I think is really important.
So the idea is to almost have like a recipe bank of recipes that people can dive into and come out of.
Absolutely.
I asked my chef friend Stephen Terry to help me out, but when he arrived at a hospital kitchen in Abergavenny, he made a discovery that shocked us both.
We roast chicken dinner, do you do lamb, beef, pork?
We don't do lamb, we don't do
no
beef.
lamb?
We do pork, chicken and turkey.
What shocks me really is the fact that, you know, because it comes down to budget and cost, here in Wales, in a Welsh hospital, we can't serve Welsh lamb. I don't understand why that isn't possible.
Unbelievably, Stephen found the only lamb that most Welsh hospitals could afford to buy was from New Zealand or Australia, not Wales.
Currently, what's they charging? Is it per kilo?
£8.10 a kilo.
£8.10 a kilo?
Leg of lamb.
And does it say where the lamb's from? Is it?
New Zealand.
Red tape means Welsh hospitals can only buy from their official suppliers, none of whom appear to be able to source local lamb more cheaply than foreign imports. We were shocked by that and quickly identified local farms more than happy to offer a better price.
On Welsh lamb legs, what's the best price per kilo? 45 kilos once a week, something. 650, 699. 650 sounds the better of the two.
Welsh lamb is the obvious ingredient for the lamb pie Stephen was determined to get on the All Wales menu. But without it, hospitals would have to use meat from the other side of the world.
This one can go in just in a tin foil because they're all right.
The hope for both of us was that, in time, the costs of local lamb from the official Welsh supply chain would be reduced, so that in future these pies could be produced with meat from Wales, giving a massive boost to the local economy.
150?
But first, all the dishes Stephen and I suggested for the new menu, including some of my soups, needed to get Leslie's official approval.
Smells gorgeous.
Good enough?
That is so good.
Now, 1 year on, I want to know what progress has been made, both with the menu overall and in making local lamb affordable for Welsh hospital chefs.
The Welsh lamb is all around us, so there are millions of sheep in Wales.
So I've asked Stephen to get an update from dietitians Judith and Jessica, both of whom have played a key role in developing the All Wales menu.
We've got a number of recipes now being implemented across Wales with a standardised recipe and analysis that meets our standards, but it's still in progression.
And how's the feedback been?
It's been great having some of the signature dishes from last year's programme, and we had some James Martin soups, and they've all gone down really well.
Yeah.
We tried your lamb pie recipe.
How was that?
Yeah, it was very good. We need to tweak it a little bit in terms of the herbs. It's quite difficult to use certain things like fresh bay leaves and then remove it when you're doing mass catering.
Sure.
So once we've finally tweaked that, we'll be looking at putting that on the framework.
Great. I mean, that was all about Welsh lamb, really. I mean, that was just one of those things that just seemed silly not to have Welsh lamb.
That conundrum is still not totally resolved. While local lamb is available for Welsh hospitals to buy from their approved suppliers, the cost of it is still around £3 more expensive per kilo than overseas alternatives. If I was a cash-strapped Welsh hospital chef, I know exactly which choice I'd be making. And although that's frustrating, the rules on how hospitals sources its food means simply switching to a cheaper supplier isn't always straightforward.
How much of an issue for contract selection process is local produce? I mean, is that something that you're thinking about?
With the EU legislation, we can't favour somebody because they're local, but what we're trying to do is work with local farmers to explain to them the NHS tendering process, so then they can be in the best position to bid for the contracts.
So they're in with a shout, then they have an opportunity.
I mean, that's what we're hoping, that they'll be in the best position and they will be able to submit the best product.
It sounds like steady progress has been made on the All Wales menu, and it's great to see that they've kept faith with the dishes we came up with. But for Stephen, that's still not quite enough.
My wish is to get a Welsh lamb dish, on the Wales Food Network.
It looks like if I want to move this issue forward, I need to go back to the Welsh Assembly. I've asked the new Health Minister, a guy called Mark Drakeford, for an interview, and this is a response which is very much a political response. I thank you for the progress update on the All Wales patient menu. Unfortunately, the Minister has declined to be interviewed. The Minister has asked me to pass on his thanks for your interest in doing what we're doing in Wales and all the best for the next series. So, in terms of a response, that's a firmly closed door, I think, and which is the story, to be honest, of the NHS as a whole, because, you know, you almost go one step forward in a hospital, but 5 steps backwards when you're trying to meet with people who make decisions happen. And this is the problem that I'm having. Nobody from the Welsh Government wants to speak to me. When you're getting doors shut in front of you, you can't do a lot more than doing what you're doing. But if there's one thing I've learned from trying to improve hospital food, it's that while disappointments along the way might be inevitable, there are still plenty of issues on which I can really make a difference.
Hiya, you're right.
Good to see you. Recently, I was invited to the Chesterfield Royal Hospital to hear about an initiative the head of retail, Kim, has come up with to give patients some help with their food immediately after they've been discharged.
We want to provide some kind of grocery pack.
Yeah.
The basics, you know, things that they can be discharged with at a reasonable price.
This idea to extend food service beyond the hospital was welcomed by patients I talked to on the wards.
If you've got something sort of, just some bits of staples to go with, then, you know, you'd be on a winner straight away.
My contribution to Kim's idea was to come up with suggestions for the essential items that would be included in the bags. It's got to be bread, it's got to be eggs, it's got to be milk.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
With only a short time until I return to Chesterfield to launch the service, Kim is meeting with discharged lounge sister Susan to see what she makes of our plans.
Myself and James just got a little list together of the things that we thought.
Okay. I don't know, there's quite a lot on there that I don't think patients are
Really?
really going to manage with.
What like?
We're expecting quite elderly people to be able to open the cans. Most of the time, the patients I'm sending home would just want the milk to make a cup of tea, perhaps the bread and the cheese that they can make themselves a sandwich.
It's quite shocked me, actually, because I would automatically think, you know, when you're poorly,
yeah.
tin of soup.
Yeah,
My
that's
mind
because you're
doesn't
young
I know,
and you
just
can open the can.
Keep telling me that.
Yeah, you're young. Right, Olivia?
Yeah?
How's that cake?
Lovely.
Is it nice?
I'm enjoying it.
You're enjoying it?
Yeah.
Susan may think our home food bag needs a few tweaks, but she's in no doubt this is an idea with obvious merits.
I think this service is so important. It can potentially prevent readmission into hospital for more vulnerable, frightened patients. They may go home and feel less inclined to ring for an ambulance because they're frightened. They know they're supported in their own home. They have got nutrition for the next few days and an ongoing support service.
And with Susan's input, Kim can now rethink the contents of our bag to better reflect what a discharged patient might need after leaving hospital.
I was looking at it from a young, fit person. So semi-skim milk, brown bread, fruit, and I was told that the older people prefer full-fat milk, white bread, full-fat cheese, that kind of thing. So that was the main stumbling block. The new system will be a reduced bag. They can buy the pack at a discounted rate. If they wanted any other items, then the Discharge Lounge and the Red Cross could facilitate that using the Shop at the Royal.
The British Red Cross has had its own scheme to help newly discharged patients get the essentials they need. But working more closely with the hospital on a combined system will lead to a more streamlined and efficient service.
Anything for the Red Cross today?
Yes, I've got this young lady that's gone home. She's going to need a hand with her shopping, I think, for the next few weeks while she recovers from her surgery.
Red Cross Service Manager Chris has seen firsthand how more vulnerable patients need help with their food when they first leave hospital.
In the first few days, you have people have a real problem because they've lost probably everything that was perishable in their fridge, and they've got to get things going, and they don't need feeding up, they just need the basics. And once they can get those things, then things start working out after that.
Susan and Chris believe the home food bags offer a great opportunity for teamwork across the hospital, with a real benefit for the more vulnerable patients in the discharge lounge.
We can work collaboratively with the shop at the front of the hospital and the Red Cross. We can visit the patients on a weekly basis as well and work closely with them to check that they are safe at home and are getting the nutrition they need.
I'm quite excited about this project. For people who not have very solid support networks, it can be the difference between them staying at home or going back into hospital again.
The more people that we spoke to love the idea, love the service, something so simple, and nobody can understand why it's never been done before, which is crazy really, isn't it?
But there's still plenty to be sorted yet for when I return for the launch.
We've got to get the bags back from the printers, we've got to get the leaflets back from the printers. Really nervous, but I think it'll go well. I hope it'll go well.
While Kim races to get things ready to be rolled out in Chesterfield, her idea is another that I'm making sure goes on my website so it can be adopted by other hospitals too. Seeing the success of initiatives and improvements at all the individual hospitals I've been to is hugely satisfying, but it's time now to make a bigger impact. I think massive things can come because of this. With the blueprint I've laid out on my website, I want to bring about change across the entire hospital catering industry. And to unveil what I've put together, I'm organising a big launch event in London and inviting representatives from as many hospitals as are willing to come. Boys, come on. Let's go. As the day of that approaches, my nerves are mounting, but I'm more determined than ever to make a difference. I'm massively passionate about food in hospitals and have been for so many years. That's why I got involved in this project. It is possible to implement change within the NHS. It's going to be gradual, it's going to be slow, and it's going to be painful, but change can be achieved. And above all else, you can do it on budget, save money, save massive amounts of waste, and improve the hospital and patient's experience. Well, that's what I believe. Now, I just need to convince the rest of the industry. Next time, I'm back in Chesterfield to help launch the hospital's home food bag service. Shall we get you home?
Yeah, please.
There's a surprise for Andy at the Princess Alexandra.
This is a guard of honour. I say she stitched me out.
And as I get ready to launch my ideas for change to more hospitals than ever, the pressure begins to mount.
Proper nervous, but here goes.
Too posh to Pound Shop? Chris fights to get a branch opened in upmarket Harrogate. Pound Shop Wars is tonight at 8 here on BBC One. Next this morning, it's Homes Under the Hammer.